Welcome back to Lunatic Astrology. Yes, I am your astrologer, Lori Lothian, and we are going to talk about the full moon lunar eclipse on November 30th, which promises to be very powerful in your own chart and in the collective sphere. This is a really powerful, particular partial eclipse because it's anchoring itself on two stars, Aldebaran or Aldebaran and Antares, that were actually revered 5,000 years ago by peoples who pinned those stars to the equinoxes, right? So there's something very special going on here. The fall and the spring equinox pinned to those two stars. And it's almost like bringing ourselves back to time. And those stars, okay, so Antares, which represents the archangel, Uriel, and Michael, archangel of Aldebaran. So Aldebaran is where the moon happens. It's Archangel Michael's moon, but it's opposing the sun on Antares. So there's something very magical going on here, guys. We're in the middle of chaos. We're in the middle of a pandemic. We're in the middle of US election chaos. And yet we have two warrior stars. They both are warrior stars, pinning this eclipse in place. Now, I think on the 30th of November, there is some major event in the US political sphere. I can't remember which one it is. But it's a Pennsylvania certification of the election in Pennsylvania. So who knows what could go on that day. But these are eclipses, and they have, especially a lunar eclipse, an influence window of at least 6 weeks after, and maybe a couple weeks before, where you feel the effects of it, you know? So I want to plant a seed for each of us that something amazing is trying to happen. I remember an expression that I learned years ago, and to always understand that something good is always trying to happen, and to not look at the world as like some kind of dangerous, negative, unfriendly place. That said, it doesn't mean living here as a human being in a mortal body isn't full of crazy ass turbulence, losing a job, getting sick, marital stress. I mean, life is stressful, yet there's something promising about the angelic energy that attends to this November the 30th, 2020 full moon eclipse. Now, every full moon is a culmination. It's a peaking of some kind of energy. And technically speaking, every time there is a moon that's peaking or a full moon, it goes back to a moon that happened earlier. So there was a new moon, oh my God, my brain, in May, June, July. Yeah, in May, I think around May 22nd of 2020, in the same area, in the same part of the chart, Gemini, that could be completing in your own life. So for all of the world as well. Now, if you know the US chart, the natal chart of the United States, Gemini is the 7th house, right? So we're looking at USA 7th house Sibley chart energies, the house of other, the house of the collective, the house of legal affairs. And I do expect legal affairs to play a prominent role in the United States. One of the things I love about astrology is that it gives us many layers of understanding. We can look at it very much at the proximate level or the constellated level of our own lives. And we can look at it at the big picture level, and both are valid. And I think that it's interesting that the stars, Aldebaran and Michael, are both warrior stars. And one of the things that I can say about this energy is that it is always about what is it we want to fight for and stand for, as opposed to what we want to rail against. One of the stars, I think I took notes on this, it's Aldebaran. I was just going deep into the research of the star beyond my cursory knowledge of Aldebaran, which is Archangel Michael, where this moon occurs. And I think I pulled this off of, thank you for Astrology King Jamie Partridge. Okay, so that Aldebaran can presage individuals who are restless, riotous, and stirring up popular dissent and revolution, inflaming the minds and an enemy of quiet and peace. So someone who has that star prominent in their chart, which I kind of do, it's on my IC, could be a bit of a rebel rouser, right? And a shit disturber, excuse my language, and kind of upsetting apple carts, which has been a part of my whole life. And I've been doing that for so long. It just seems like, oh yeah, I should upset some more apple carts. But imagine the star is on stirring up popular dissent and revolution. on the full moon. A fullness of popular dissent and revolution seems to be augured by this particular Gemini moon, okay, full moon, eclipse. So let me show you the chart. Okay, let's bring it up. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget, I have a Patreon community that gets 25% off readings from me. And you can come to my Astro Tarot Tuesdays every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. EST and ask personal questions to have a divinatory reading for you. Well, if you're live in the room with us. So think about that, as well as we address Cindy and I, my sister of Lenormand Tarot fame, we'll address a collective event for the world. And we'll divine on that or oraculate. So here we go. So here we are, November 30th, and the actual eclipse is happening at 3:35 a.m. in Vancouver time. Okay, so Pacific time, 6:30 on Eastern Standard Time. So in the AM hour. So it's early in the AM on November 30th. So here you can see that this is the chart itself. Here you can see that I just set it for 0 Aries for simplicity. And you get the sense then, here we go, across the way, look, boom. Oh, that's 9 degrees. I'm sorry, guys. Let's fix it. But it still applies, you know. Yeah. Sometimes I wonder, sometimes I don't think I am the astro weather girl as my life's calling. Let's get back to 8 degrees. Oh, sorry, go back by an hour. All right, you get the gist. I don't have the patience to fix it. I really don't. Okay, I'll try, but it's gone ahead and it's doing its own thing without me. Hours, okay. I doubt that it's gonna, yeah, close enough. All right, so sorry. Reframe, roughly 2 in the morning Pacific time, 5 in the morning Eastern time. So look, you got the energy like beaming across, and the angels are on either side holding the space on the moon, Michael and Uriel up here, both warrior stars. This is like the heart of the Scorpion energy, or the stinger. It's up in the Scorpio thing. Energy. Don't worry about the difference of Sag. That's just the precession of the equinoxes. And Michael's down here holding the fort with his sword as well. Now, one of the things that I would say about this, just, you know, pointing it out, it is a partial eclipse, right? You can see how far the sun is from the south node and the moon from, it's not the most potent eclipse of all possible. The nodes are not directly on the sun or the moon. So it's partial. So it's strong by virtue of touching down with the angelics, with the fixed stars that are so powerful, but not actually a full moon eclipse, right? So it's not the most powerful of full moon eclipses. So that kind of mitigates maybe some of that warrior energy that's going on during that eclipse. You know, there's nobody else really interacting with the eclipse on the day of the eclipse, right? Chiron might be. I should have put him in there. Let's add Chiron. Give me a sec. Let's put him into the mix. Okay, since I'm here, I'll add Chiron and the asteroids. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, guys. I'm having software technical issues. I'm not even sure what you're looking at anymore. All right, I didn't even add all of them because the software was glitching. But anyway, so yeah, Chiron's at 5 degrees retrograding. Sure, he will sextile the moon and he will trine the sun. So some healing is trying to happen. Some healing is at hand. Something is trying to open the door to some, you know, pioneering, aggressive, original healing energies, Chiron and Aries, the magician. That's about it, you know, really, honestly, that's about the whole shebang, and everybody else is in aversion. So we're only looking at this as potentially trying to do some healing, but Chiron is retrograde. So maybe the healing won't be really that effective at this point. I need some water, sorry. I've been recording videos all day. Okay, so ice water moment. In your own chart, where this falls is probably what's most important right now. So we're going to just say, here is this moon. It's happening at a time when, you know, Neptune is squaring the nodes. There's a lot of illusion. There's a lot of delusion. There's a lot of confusion. There's a lot of fogginess about what's true. Is the election true, or is it rigged in the United States? Is the virus real, or is it Memorex? I mean, all of this Neptune squaring the nose is happening, but Neptune delightedly, and thank God, went direct on November 28th and will begin to act in more clear-sighted way and seeing what's true beneath the surface instead of obfuscating and creating a great dramatic fog for the collective, including conspiracy theories and paranoia and false gurus and religion, all of Neptune's wheelhouse. All right, so let's go to the all signs and talk about each of us in the eclipse energy of November 30th, remembering that you're going to feel this, I think, roughly 2 weeks before, 6 weeks after, and yet it's still energetically in play until May 26th when the next eclipse happens, right? So Aries, this is happening in your natal third house. This is a house of siblings. This is a house of short trips and travel. This is a house of learning, teaching, and speaking. If you are going to travel during this time, it will be a good trip. Neptune is direct, thank goodness. And so, it won't be so like confusing for you, but also you got angelic support for any journeys you're going to make. I'm traveling to Vancouver to house and dog sit for a friend and be back in my old hometown of 15 years from Montreal during this time. Siblings could play a stronger role than usual, and you might want to pay attention to your relationship with your siblings, as well as if you teach anything, you're a teacher, you're a speaker, you're a writer, you're a educator, third house features, you have your own business, you're selling things. This is going to be a really good moon where you're going to get your warrior juice on to support that part of your life. Hey, Taurus, this is going to be for you something that impacts your second house of earnings, income, self-possession and self-worth, and also things that you ingest in food, because this is happening in your natal second house. So the way you ingest food, be cautious with that in general, because of course there is, the potential for, kind of being confused about what you should eat. Second house energies are being activated, but it's also your voice in the world. It's also your money in the world. It's also your self-possession and your self-worth. And they're getting a warrior boost, 2 archangels holding down the fort, particularly Archangel Michael. So if you've been feeling Taurian sun, moon, and ascendant about finances, a little bit stressed out, a little bit not sure about the flow of money into your life, good news is that this promises between now and May the 26th, a turning of the corner in the money story, as well as self-worth and self-possession and your voice in the world. All right, let's move forward because this is just a touch base, come to me for a reading if you want the entire eclipse cycle. Gemini, this is happening in your first house of identity, of course, because it's a Gemini full moon eclipse. So for Geminis, you are starting something over, but coming to a fruition at the same time. So an old identity is kind of coming to an ecliptic moment. And all these full moons are kind of like peaking energy, climactic energy, fruition. So where is your identity coming to some kind of completion, fruition? Think back to May, right? May 22nd or so, when you had the new moon. Where are you now kind of bearing the fruit of that new moon in your life? And now with the help of an Archangel Michael, right in that first house of your identity, be the warrior, be committed, be strong, be brave, and speak what you need to speak in the world. Just say it, do it, be it, whatever. You kind of think of yourself as Michael because he's there on the eclipse in your first house. And, if you have any planets, Geminis, really, really close to the eclipse itself, really, that's important to pay attention to. So the eclipse itself, is at, oh my God, my brain, 9 degrees, 8 degrees of Gemini. So if your ascendant is within 3 degrees on either side of 8 Gemini or your sun or moon, this is a very important eclipse in your life, very significant one. And you're going to see the longer fruition of the story between now and the end of 21 as the eclipses continue to go through Sag, Gemini, Sag, Gemini. If you're in a relationship, some of you Geminis may find it turbulent. And if you're single, you might find a new loved one coming into your life. Sorry, this is my ice water. I've been recording today for other things and my throat is so sore and dry. So Cancer, this is happening in your natal 12th house, your 12th house of your dreams at night, your reveries, your meditations. You might be looking at something to do with, having a breakthrough dream around this eclipse or a breakthrough insight. If you Cancers have been struggling, sun, moon, and ascendant with something to do with addiction, self-undoing, this will change the course for you or potentially bring some clarity and fruition to that story. I would also say the 12th house has to do with your karma or your past lives. And so it's a very kind of karmatic moon for you. If you have any hidden enemies, they'll come to full moon light, right? They'll be caught, they'll be seen, they'll be in the light of the full moon. So anyone who's trying to undo you or unravel you or work behind the scenes to not benefit you will be exposed likely in the 6 weeks that follow this moon. And anything else I'd say? If you're into enlightenment, Archangel Michael activating a full moon in the house of enlightenment, I connect to that energy and see what you can bring forth. Michael was very special to God, like on the right hand of God kind of thing. So it could be a very spiritual breakthrough time for you. All right, Leo, this is happening in your natal 11th house of friends and allies and great gains from your career, your hopes, dreams, and wishes house. You know, I would say that because this is an energetic north node, this is going to bring you leaning into that part of the chart, leaning into new developments with those connections you have with others that you can stretch into and benefit from, like friends who want to help you, you know, allies who want to help you, people who want to support you. If you want to renegotiate the terms of your agreements with reality, what are my true hopes? What are my true dreams? And what are my true wishes? Take this full moon and dive into those questions, because you can really find something precious, something new, something to inspire you in that energy of that moon, because it's such a blessed moon with the angelic doorways there. Now, if you have you Leos, a planet near 8 degrees of Gemini, or your own sun, moon, and ascendant, even, that's where we really want to go. So anything within 3 degrees of that is extra special for you. It's extra potent. So pay attention to that as well. This is Virgo next, and we're going to talk about the 10th house career zone for you guys. Ascendant Virgo more so, but also sun and moon. You know, do you really know what you want to do when you grow up? 10th house is your contribution, your action in the world, your praxis, your high noon, and your reputation. And now we have a fruition of something that started in May. Remember, there was a new moon in May in Gemini, and now here's this full moon eclipse with angels on it in your house of career. Now, some people won't have a career. You might be a housewife, a student. It doesn't matter. It's how you want to bring something to the whole world and show up on the stage in the world. You know, what is it you want to bring to the collective? Where's your reputation going to find its satisfaction? So you're really going to ponder that. This moon can open up some new ideas, some new directions, some new clarity for you. This full moon, I should say. And it's fruitions of questions and thoughts you had in May, around the 22nd of May, really into all of June, really. So I want you to go back and think about your life then. All right. This is happening in your natal 9th house, your 9th house of book publishing and foreign lands and spiritual philosophy and religion and your true path, your dharma, and a fullness, a fruiting, a fruition. Think back to May 22nd. What were you doing back then that now could be bearing fruit or coming into some fullness in your life? And think about, the whole theme of the 9th house being really the house of God. So it's very spiritual. I mean, at its worst, it's dogmatic and religious, and at its highest, it's like, connecting with the divine and being connected to the soul of who you really are. Now, yeah, book publishing, foreign lands, teaching projects. If you're a teacher, especially if you're professorial, this is going to be very auspicious. 9th house teaching is longer than just a weekend workshop. So if you're like mentoring others, this is very auspicious, a ripening of the mentorship energy. How are you going to help others? Do you want to mentor or guide others? So that might be an important question. All right, next. This is happening for you, Scorpios, in the natal 8th house, the 8th house of, secrets. I guess a full moon could reveal in the light of the full moon things that were hidden from you, secrets that were kept from you or that you kept from yourself. The unconscious mind is here. Secrets that are also occult mystery, forbidden archaeology, sex and sex magic. If you have a partner, this could be a very powerful sexual energy that could enter into the story for a deeper intimacy between this moon, really the 30th of November and all the way up to 6 weeks onward, and in a longer context until the next lunar cycle of the eclipses in May of 2021. What else can I say? Money, other people's money, bank loans, fruition. Do you need to leverage something financially? This is a full moon. It's got an angel on it. You could find that you have some amazing money luck to leverage something, a loan, a tax rebate, a grant, an investment that takes off. So pay attention to those possibilities in the 6 weeks that follow November 30th. Sagittarius, this is happening in your natal 7th house of long-term commitment and relationship. It's also the house of business partners and clients, should you see them. This could be an inner energy that wants you to begin something in terms of, well, not begin, it's not a new moon, but to bring something to fullness in a long-term love. Like, come on, it's like Sagittarius, this is your marriage house. So if you're married, this is about your marriage partner. If you're not married and you want to be with someone, this could bring somebody new into your life. Now, there is something about May 22nd into June of 2020 that is playing out during this eclipse, and will like come to fruition to bookend the new moon, right, that happened back then. Also look at this as a 6-week window of unfolding. I mean, there's a light shining in your 7th house of other. Have you paid enough attention to your beloved, to your significant other? If not, that's what this moon will call you to do. It's time to pay attention and shine some light into the house of the others that are important to you in your life. This doesn't have to just be your current marriage partner. It could be like someone you're really close to, a former marriage partner, if you're still friends with that person, or former lover, if you're still friends, as long as you were together for a while. There's a sense of wanting to bridge the gap and get out of you and into other and bring some fullness to that part of the story and to the clients and customers that you serve as well. Capricorn, this is happening in your 6th house of your work routines and daily habits, and also your karmic debt, full energy applying itself to your 6th house. Well, first of all, go back to May 22nd into June. What was going on then during the new moon cycle? Because now it's coming to fruition and fullness. You got an angel, Michael, helping you in the 6th house of food styles. Is it time to ditch the popcorn? Is it time to ditch the ice cream? Is it time to ditch the gluten? Places that we work against your own well-being, physically, mentally, and emotionally. What habits and addictions and patterns are coming to the light of the full moon so you can see them clearly and maybe get ready to let them go. And if that's true, you may have started to think about that as far back as May 2020. It's a karmic debt house. You may be letting go of some karmic debt. That's kind of hard to pinpoint to a story, but just know that events that transpire a couple of weeks before and after November 30th may be debt related, and you're going to release some karmic debt. If you need to be hospitalized or something, things might go very well because of the angelic energy. So health upsets could have a happy angelic warrior energy that supports you to be recovered well. And then Aquarius, this is your 5th house of romance. I'm an Aquarius rising. We could be experiencing romantic engagement, some new romance fruiting, coming to fullness because of the moon, with the angels there as well. This is right on my IC, guys. So I'm waiting for this one. My IC is being directly hit. Now, go back to May, because this could be also recapitulating a romantic engagement in May. If this is about the other 5th house meanings, what creative project, idea, inspiration did you want to birth and come into your mind to conceive in May that you want to bring to fullness and fruition in the time frame of November 30th up to 6 weeks after, a couple weeks before? If you have children, I do. This is about your children. Where is there a fullness and a fruition of some relationship issue with one of your children or all of your children that seeded itself in May and is coming to fullness in November? I'm traveling with my daughter to Vancouver, Canada during this time. So let's see where that shows up as a fruition and a fruiting of my connection with her. Last but never least is the Pisces of the world. This is happening in your natal 4th house. This is your home. This is where you live. This is your anchor. This is your mom and dad. There's a fullness here. Now, these eclipses are bringing fullness to your 4th house over the next year anyway, 2021. But this is a particular energy. So I got an angel there. Where is home, Pisces? Where do you feel most at home? Is your home okay? Do you need a new home? Is there some light being shed on the home for you? Home is where the heart is. Where is your heart? Where is your home? There is also, if you have unresolved issues with your mother or father, the ancestral family of origin, healing and light can be shed with the fullness of this moon in this part of your psyche and in your life. This full moon could ask you to change your home, to add to your home, but also to begin to understand, is this the right home for me? Because this is the beginning of a bunch of eclipses that will go through your fourth house of home between now and the end of 21. And it's possible it may incite a change of home or a desire to significantly change the home that you live in, the town, the city, and the house or apartment. All right. Thanks, guys, for hanging in there to listen to all of those individual delineations. Like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. And also, please remember that I have all kinds of courses and sales and stuff going on. Always check your description box below to know what's happening in the land of my readings and how to reach out to me and connect with me. And if you listen this far, Patreon, I have new members every day showing up. It's a small community, but you have so many great things you can get by joining my Patreon membership community, things that you can't get here on YouTube. All right, including early access to all the videos I post here, including free access to all my 12 signs 2021 predictive year ahead horoscopes. Okay, ciao, ciao. Mwah.